one of the most terrifying apex hunters on planet 4546b. This creature is a nightmare of muscles and jaws.
What is that?
Strong enough to shred titanium robots and crush submarines twice its size. This is the Reaper Leviathan. But what happens if we pull this monster out of Subnautica and drop it into the Earth's oceans instead? Would it sit at the throne of the food chain or starve into extinction? The answer comes down to some oddly specific biological math. The biggest animals alive today are mostly filter feeders. Blue whales, basking sharks, whale sharks, you name it. They can eat tons of small plankton or krill at once by opening their mouths while barely moving, maximizing their energy reserves and minimizing consumption. However, predators don't have that luxury. They need to spend way more energy tracing and killing their prey. All this to eat less and burn more. This is why rarely any of the bigger guys are apex predators. To put into perspective, the biggest shark that ever lived was the Megalodon, and it could only get so big because it inhabited the Pliocene oceans that were a literal buffet of slow, fatty and prehistoric whales. This Leviathan measures at a whopping 55 meters. For reference, a blue whale tops at 30 meters, absolutely dwarfing the largest animal to ever exist on Earth, which by the way, by definition would be classified as a Leviathan too. But with this size comes a massive problem. Given it cannot feed passively, it needs to find warm, open waters packed with large meat to eat. But could this place even exist on Earth? In their home planet, they inhabit the tropical zones bordering the crushed aurora or emptier biomes like the dunes or mountains at depths of no more than 450 meters. Following those criteria, there is one perfect candidate surrounding Indonesia, the Coral Triangle. The waters of the world's largest archipelago are relatively deep, warm and salty, basically a mirror of the ones in 4546b, and even houses over 2/3 of all known coral species in the world. So in a pretty reduced area, they would have a shit ton of fish, marine turtles, sea cows and even whale sharks. In comparison, their whole planet is relatively shallow compared to Earth, reaching a max depth of 1700 meters without taking into account the ecological dead zone, while Earth's deepest point is the Challenger Deep, reaching more than 10,000 meters. So, why are they not going deeper to hunt? This is because the entries for deeper waters are guarded by their predators, so if we drop this creature on Earth, they would suddenly become the top dogs, allowing them to roam freely to deeper waters, up to a certain point. You see, the water temperature rapidly drops the further you go, and the slim body of the Reaper Leviathan is made up of muscles rather than fat, prioritizing movement over insulation, so they could only go ever so deep and would probably linger around the surface most of their time. Following their appearance, they have a horn-like protuberance on its head, which is used to ram their prey or even boats. Their white and red pigmentation is useful in low light waters, as the red wavelengths are first absorbed, allowing them to blend in with the environment. And regarding the 4 eyes, they are a waste of energy. You see, most animals stick to 2 eyes. Their difference lies in the arrangement to cover different fields of view, to have no blind spots like prey do, or to have a better sense of depth like predators do. So over millions of evolution cycles, they would end up with 2 bigger, more efficient eyes. And the most terrifying feature of the Reaper is its 4 claw-like appendages used for grabbing prey or even submersibles. At first glance, these resemble the limbs of the Caliceret Leviathan from Sector 0, which is related to arachnids because of that segmented body. However, the Reaper lacks that body type. Instead, if we dive deeper into the inactive lava zone, we can see skeletons preyed by sea dragons, which tells us that they should be placed in the bony fish superclass, alongside animals like groupers or manta rays. If we trap a pair of leviathans, will they dominate the waters? Probably not. In Subnautica, there are only 27 hermaphrodite specimens, which tells us that they grow slow as fuck. These slower reproduction cycles are part of the case selection, where specimens make 1 or 2 big buffed babies that have a better chance to survive. compared to other species that breed crazy fast like seahorses, where only a handful survive. Spawning one offspring allows them to go all in instead of what ifs. Once fully grown, they can take down everything they find in their way. Whale sharks? Done. Sperm whales? Done. Blue whales? You guessed it. But what about boats? Imagine you're on a vacation trip, chilling carefree on a luxury super yacht. Suddenly, you see a 55-meter horned snake swimming at full speed. You suddenly feel the heat. Sirens start screaming. That boat is getting flooded by the minute, and where your only exit is the water, you better call you dead. Luckily, you are too insignificant for that creature. They wouldn't attack humans on a daily basis given the small they are. You better play your cards right when you are that big. Being nimble and sturdy doesn't mean they are invincible. One lucky strike and they'll go straight to the bottom of the sea. This would add to the environment like whale falls do. When whales die, they end up sinking to the bottom of the ocean, becoming an ecological oasis and lasting for more than a year at times. But the blue whales are too fat in comparison to the slim Reaper, so not as many scavengers could feed off it. But hold up, if they are made up of muscles, would it fossilize? Actually, it may contribute to a certain type of ecosystem, where some feathery looking things interact. Although they look like plants, these are actually bone-eating worms, which you probably can guess what they do. This would attract fish, crustaceans, and any other creature looking for a temporary shelter. So even after death, a Reaper could sow life into the deep. So, all in all, could the Reaper Leviathan live on Earth? Hell yeah. Would it survive, or even thrive? Not really. Their best bet would be to roam in ultra-rich regions like the Coral Triangle. But even if an 18-meter giant shark struggled to survive, eventually going extinct, the Reaper would probably be awaiting the same fate.